Hey, y'all. Can you guys see me? I know a few of you will be in here at least. Hold on. Oh, let me see. Maybe I should put my headphones in. Oh, I want to switch them. Can you hear me, you guys? Nope. Can you guys hear me? Thank you. I appreciate that, Sarah. A lot. Hey, y'all. Just popping in. I'm kind of seeing people on both ends here. I'm going to drop the link for anybody that wants to come up. We're just going to chat. If you guys have questions, go ahead and ask me. I'm just sitting here. I figured it's time to go live. I am sick and tired of the stupid games. So here we are. Because unlike these fools think, one thing they're not going to do is intimidate me or run me off the internet by trying to tell people that I'm somebody I'm not, because I'm not. Not associated with anybody that they think I am or anything. So here I am, bitches. What are you guys up to? Nanya. Hey, I'm going to try to get you guys the link to set this up. Copy. Let me see if I can put it in here. How do I drop this stupid link? Well, let me see. What are you guys all up to today? You guys want to talk about anything in particular? I figured I would just come up and kind of give you guys the opportunity if anybody wants to come up within reason. I don't have a whole lot of time just because I am headed to, we're going to my other half's buddy's house. Well, it's his coworker's house for the fight tonight. Anybody else watching the fight? I don't even know who it is, to be honest. Hold on, I'm doing this at the same time, and I'll catch up on your guys' comments in just a second. Okay, there's the link if anybody wants to pop in. What fight? Daphne, I actually really don't even know who it is, to be honest. I'm just going. It's the guys' thing. It's not my thing, but the kids and everybody are going. Nope, and I don't even have, well, I figured out how to add mods on YouTube finally, and I have 2 as of right now, but that's it. There's 52 of you here. Everybody's like, oh, is Nonsense actually showing her face? No, not yet. I don't want to hurt Molly's feelings that bad yet. We'll let her continue on her little charades a little bit longer, and then we'll drop the ball. Hey, Patty. Welcome in, all of you. When he comes back in, Daphne, I'll ask him. You guys want to talk about anything in particular? Oh, hey, look who it is. How do I do this? Stream. Unmute mic. You can't unmute your guests. Oh, they chose to mute themselves. Ha! I'm figuring this all out. Are you there?
Hey. Yeah,
Hey.
you know, I'm in the middle of moving, so I'm taking a short break.
Can you guys still hear us okay with both of us on here, or do I need to put my earphones in?
I think that YouTube is different than, Facebook. Like if one of us doesn't have headphones in, it makes a big problem. Right. But I think that YouTube is different. So just to answer some questions in the chat. So Clemson Girl wants to know, when you started this, did you think that people would think that you were Katie?
All honesty, I didn't even know who Katie was. I had never heard of Without a Crystal Ball. Okay, so let's get real raw and real for a moment, and I'll let you guys ask the questions. But no, I had no idea who she was. I knew who Molly was solely from one glimpse of her yelling in front of the laundry's house. That's all I knew of these people whatsoever. I have been on Facebook, you guys, for years, years and years and years on Facebook. YouTube, I've messed with a little bit. There's some people we follow on YouTube. Diana Ricky, some of you guys are from, like, that's who I used to watch on YouTube. No, I had no idea who Katie even was. So when people are calling me her, I'm like, it's, yeah. Okay, no.
And truly, so why did you move over to YouTube? I think there's a lot of questions that people have had over the last like month or two since you came over. So why not just address all the questions?
Perfect. So the reason I moved to YouTube was, or started a YouTube channel, was because that's where the biggest majority of the misinformation was coming from, was from YouTube creators alike. All of them to begin with. It was just a shit show of people spreading misinformation. So I figured the only way to combat that was take the fight to their playground, basically. So if I wanted to be heard, I needed to put the information where people were going to see it that mattered, if that makes sense. I have another Facebook page, which, here's the big shocker. Tia, hey, honey, I hope you have a screen recorder in here because I'm going to give you some advice. I don't have admins or mods on Facebook because I don't have admins or mods on Facebook. Period. End of story. That's all it is. It's me.
Okay. So wait a second. So actually, the specific question was, if you don't have admins or mods on Facebook, then why do you have an admin activity?
Because I have my page and then my profile as my admin. That's how it always.
So essentially, Facebook has it set up on pages where, because you are the administrator of your page,
right,
when you click on the button, it is admin activity, which is where you will see if somebody comments, if somebody has posted, if somebody has tagged you. That's why you have admin activity.
Correct. Yeah, that's the only thing I added. Okay, so with my other page, I actually lost access to that page because I was just running it as a page and didn't put an account in the admin. So after they reported it a bunch, mass reported it a bunch, they were trying to make me authenticate it. Well, I couldn't because I didn't have a profile linked to it. It was just a page. So the page is still up. You can see it. I just can't access it. So that's why the nonsense point 2 started, was because I was using my backup page. And then I was like, people are so confused because my YouTube name is nothing compared to what my Facebook page is, because my Facebook page had CMC in the title. It said CMC protest truce nonsense in the holler. Anybody that doesn't know what a holler is, it's a small valley in Kentucky.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was either. Hey, I can't do it from here because I'm in here, but can you block Chris Moss, who has some really lovely things to say, apparently? So if you can, I can't block him from being in StreamYard. I don't know if you can or not.
I think I can.
Because at the end of the day, that's not, we don't block people unless they're really doing some crazy stuff. So she'll work on that while she works on that, though. So I'm curious. I am curious, so one thing I've always heard from being in the Facebook world is, when you get trolls, that's how you know, like, you've officially made it. If you don't have trolls in your chat, then that means you're not doing it right. So we welcome them, I guess, just not with some of that type of stuff.
Yeah, just keep the crazy stuff out of it.
Yeah. So, okay. So here's my next question. So somebody else actually asked a little while ago, in the question, sorry if I didn't catch who it was, but they asked, who have you been accused of being so far?
Oh my gosh, who haven't I been accused of being? Katie, Molly, Justin, Elle. There was a new girl the other day, some attorney named Emily, which I don't know who she is. I've been accused of being some other big YouTubers that I've never heard of until I was accused of being them. And then I went and laughed my ass off because there's absolutely zero similarities.
Okay.
So,
So I am curious, other than which we've already seen the video of what they had put out to prove that you were Katie, because you responded on that post, which truly Katie had reposted yours and then they tagged you. So that's how you ended up on Katie's page. But anywho, they don't want to hear that. So that's okay. But I
right.
am curious, what are some reasons why you believe that they think you are Katie?
Because I won't back down to him. So this group of people, if you watch their history, and I didn't know this until now, or just like finally learning about these people, but they are professional haters of hers. And I'm not going to say that there's not reasons for some of their dislike on certain things. I don't know enough of the details of what they accuse her fully of to form a complete opinion. I would say that they have concerning things, yes, but these people are hell bent on making everything her fault, whether she's involved or not. And because I wouldn't stop when they were putting pressure, so first they bombarded my inbox and tried to take control of what I was doing from that angle. Then it wouldn't work because I was like, look, that's not what the deal is. There is facts out here. I don't even know this person or who she is. And Katie and I had not talked at that time. These trolls hit me first. And then I was kind of like, well, who the heck is this? And then her stuff started popping up because she was covering the Marvon case. But she wasn't around until the 6th of July. So she came out of nowhere, and I had already started being accused of stuff because I was questioning things. And then here we are with the mess. But she has, I have no idea how they've crossed these lines, to be honest. I really don't know.
Okay. One more identity question. Stephanie wanted to know, has anybody actually ever guessed your true identity?
No, nobody's even been close. And the reason I say that openly is because people have made wild guesses, and it's not like a big top secret thing. There's actually quite a few people that do know. I have actually stopped even talking to people that I'm close to that are associated with certain things and groups because I didn't know that this was going to turn out the way it did. So I was afraid. Well, and it still bothers me because I keep getting blamed for things that I'm not doing or associated with this or that. So when I started to see how crazy it got or was getting, I kind of distanced myself from people I even like kind of talk to in the Facebook world, not to do anything, but to save them from possibly getting blamed for anything I was doing. It's pretty fucked up, but that's how bad it gets.
Okay. So tell us, why are you doing this? Why do you continue to put out the different receipts and put out the different facts that you're putting out? What is the purpose of what you're doing?
Do you want me to go raw and real for a moment? Or you want me to
I
wait on the
mean, it's your page. Do what you
answers now
do.
or not? Okay. So my page has always kind of been one that watches everything that's going around on in the background. So for instance, with the CMC stuff, CMC has been a scammer or an alleged scammer on Facebook for years. She's had a big following for a lot. People assumed because the title of my page was CMC Protest Truths Nonsense in the Holler that I was after her, that it was an exposure page on her. No, there's so many exposure pages on her. That's not what it was. There was a group of people that unfortunately came in and decided to do protests on CMC. Great idea if it could have ended up being facilitated decently. It wasn't. It was just another smoke and mirrors, big, huge distraction. There was problems with the people that started it. So I started putting out details that we were finding out, or I was finding out on the back end of things, going, okay, we've got a situation that's just getting worse by the time. So kind of same logic with the Marvon McRae story. I didn't look at first, I was looking at it only through eyes of what happened. There's got to be something wrong here. And I was just resharing somebody else's posts. There was plenty of pages covering it. I was just resharing stuff. Then things started to really become noticeably wrong. There was a lot of people asking questions. I would notice that the question would be asked and then 10 minutes later it would be deleted. So I started to use my page or the backup page and just kind of put out questions. I didn't have a following. I had a tiny little page, no big deal. But it started to amp up, and that's kind of why it started with I just started asking questions because I was just as confused as everybody else. There was no confirmed answers. I didn't have a theory. I didn't know where this was going to go. So that's that.
Okay. All right. So do you
Thank you,
feel
Darby.
like when you first started I hate to call it reporting, but do you feel like when you first started posting about this situation, do you feel like you had all the facts to put out?
Absolutely.
Do you
No.
feel like you turned around
No,
and was
I
like,
was
wait a
completely
second,
biased.
or
I was looking at it through my trauma. If you want me to be completely honest with you, when I started looking at the story, and many of you probably can relate to this because everybody has some sort of trauma in their life that they can relate to. When I started looking at the story, somebody very dear to me just had a massive head injury and was unconscious without any type of movement, anything for days. We didn't know what was going to happen. That was beginning of this year, end of last year, very end of last year, the very beginning of this year. All I could see when I would see the pictures posted of Marvon is my loved one. So, unfortunately, like so many other people, I let my own emotions kind of dictate the course I took of this from the get go when I first started reporting on it. And I was like, there's got to be something more here. And I kept uncovering, like, when I would watch Dre's videos, I would go and see, like, she openly talks about mental health and all of the struggles. And it was that, and sitting down and actually watching not clips of hers, but full conversations, and understanding that at the same time, no matter what, there is a lot of trauma on all pieces here. And I needed to detach my own emotions. So I did. I detached them because I was like, wait, there is way more cooking here than what meets the eye. And that's what made me take a step back, because I had to really check myself.
Okay. So somebody else asked, who is Army Wife asked, who is the other person speaking? So Army Wife, my YouTube name is None Ya Business. Bidness, Bidness. My Facebook name is Joanne None Ya Business. And I am wholeheartedly a Dre supporter and friend. I am someone who had a lot of context prior to this. And I'm somebody who believes in that there is more sides to a story than one. And I am a person who can kind of step outside of my own emotions of things and look at things from other people's perspectives. I was blessed with a very analytical brain, not an emotional brain. And it allows me to be able to look at this situation and say, hey, this doesn't add up. Hey, this doesn't make sense. Wow, you've got this video out here with such a strong context, but that's not, like, you took a clip of something, that's not it. Let's put out more. And so for as far as Nonsense and I go, I did not know her at all prior to this situation. And even in the beginning, and I'll be real, I'll be all the way real. Even actually, it happened yesterday. I went looking. Somebody mentioned something about a clip, and I was like, "There's no way that doesn't exist. No way!" Like, And nonsense came, and in my inbox was like, "That does exist. If you scroll back on my page, you'll see it." And as I
Yeah.
scrolled back through her page to what I call the Dre bashing time frame, I told her,
Yep.
I had to tell her, I was like, I can't keep scrolling through your page because I'm gonna get angry with you,
Yep.
and I don't want that.
100%.
um, but I do understand that, like so many other people, they got emotionally connected in their own personal situations and in their own experiences and in their own trauma, that they let that override anything else in the situation. And I think people now are at a place where a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are coming to a place where now they can hear something else. They can hear a different perspective. They can at least contemplate it. Even if they don't agree with it, they at least take the time to think about it, where back in early July there was no thinking about it. It was just
Well, and
instantaneous denial.
I think a lot of people, honestly, like, don't even realize that there's a trigger in this story for them, to be honest, because I didn't
Yeah.
until looking back. Like, it took me and you actually having a sit down conversation and you asking me questions about, okay, what was my mindset? And I was like, let me actually think about this. And I had to really take accountability and think, oh, whoa, I didn't even realize, because you think I'm okay. Because especially as moms and wives and everything
Mhm.
else, you are expected to be there for your loved ones and just kind of keep it moving. We are ingrained to be strong for everybody around us. And sometimes we don't recognize that even though we're putting on a brave face, there's things that are crumbling, beneath us, or we're more sensitive, or our feelings are heightened on something, and we're not even thinking about that situation. It took me looking back and realizing, oh, I was actually visiting that person when this kind of kicked off. Yeah, that might have bothered me because I was very emotionally like, what the heck? But then it didn't take, thankfully, I'm pretty self aware and can put things in categories. Like in my head, everything's got a box. And as soon as I recognized, I was able to chalk it up. And then I started seeing the bigger picture here that, hold on, we're seeing clips. And there was all sorts of things. I have triggers about a lot of the story, as many people do. There are so many pieces of this that people can relate to. Everybody does, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think
Yes,
everybody connects to it in a different way,
I was
and I can
guilty. I was
appreciate that.
guilty. Yeah. Sorry, I'm
Um,
reading some comments.
that's okay. So here's my next question. Um, why is your page not monetized?
My page is not monetized. That is a personal choice I decided to make as of right now. I really honestly feel that it's not something that I could do at the moment. Marvon, and I'm having a hard time still reconciling this because my page is growing off of me covering Marvon. So am I still having benefit from Marvon's story? Yes, unfortunately I am. Like there's no way to turn it around and say I'm not. But for me to monetize my page right now, yes, all of my pages can be monetized. I have offers for everything. But I just feel it's not right. Like here I am trying to scream and yell that this man's name is being exploited for financial gain on so many different aspects, and at the same time doing the same myself, like that don't really work. So at some point in time, we were talking about this yesterday. I wish I could have members only streams. I really wish I could. But that means I have to monetize my page. So I'm still reconciling, like, that's a personal thing for me that I just can't wrap my head around. And I've
Okay.
seen all the comments and everything, like everybody on Facebook is like, get the ads. They're on your videos anyways. Like it doesn't matter. And the timing's not right. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely, although this isn't my page, I definitely support that decision wholeheartedly. And the reason why is because I think there's enough money that's been made off of this tragedy. And not a dime of that has actually gone to help the person who it's all about.
Right.
So I
Right.
don't
And
think
that's
that there's a need to make any more anywhere.
right. Right. I think, and that's the hard part. If there was something like a way to do it that if I turned on monetization, that everything just went to a fund for Marvon or the kids, I would gladly do it in a heartbeat. That I could guarantee that everything I made off of spreading his story went to them, I would absolutely 100% do it in a heartbeat. But I can't, and there's just not a setup for that at this point in time. So
yeah,
down the road, we will see. I haven't even decided if I'm staying on YouTube, to be honest. Actually, I do have a lot of stories. I have a really good story that I think you guys would be really intrigued by, and it's a real life crazy story, actually. And it's not my own.
So two things to debunk the haters. I like to debunk misinformation and haters. So we'll start with the haters at first. So when you're talking about your page and you say you run your page, then why do you say we?
Oh, I talk in third person all the time. First person, third person, second person, whatever person I decide to talk in that time. Plus, I always try to make sure somebody else, like I ask Nanya a million questions and say, am I on the right track? So a lot of times I'll say we, because I'm not here on my own. Look at all of you guys. You guys have been the backbone of this.
Absolutely.
I have just been a voice putting videos together. The followers, that's so weird to say too. I feel creepy even saying that. My friends, you ladies and gentlemen have been the backbone. When I say we, it's we. Sorry, you guys are stuck with it.
Yeah. And really, if you look at it, part of the we as well is people will send us a lot of information. Somebody, will catch something, their eye catches something that you may not. And sometimes, it could, come to my inbox. It may go to Blantessa's inbox. It may go to yours, whatever. And when that happens, it's kind of like, well, wait a second. Hey, so-and-so sent me this, but we didn't just make that up or find it on our own. Like other people have concerns and have questions. And if they can't get those questions answered, it leads to a lot of feelings of deception and whatever else there may be. So I think the we truly is the audience who is supporting by, taking those screen records, taking those screenshots, looking deeper, asking questions, being willing to keep an open mind. That is the we that I feel like you speak about.
Always. Always. It's not, honestly, to tell you the truth, and that's something that just drives me nuts about YouTubers, Facebook people, influencers, whatever you want to call them. A lot of them are just hot air machines, but they all sit and take credit for stuff constantly that at the end of the day, they didn't have a hand in, really, besides being the voice that gives it to you guys. Like a lot of the content Molly is giving to her followers, or anybody else for that matter, is coming from you guys, right? You guys are the ones that are sending screenshots from my page to the other creators, catching them up. A lot of times that happens. Or somebody will come to my inbox and say, hey, you got this, this, and this. Can you send it to me so I can shoot it over to this person? And that's how things are getting spread.
Absolutely.
And so for me to sit here and say, like, I tell Flava, I tell anybody all the time, like, I am so grateful and appreciative of everything everybody else is doing, whether I agree with everything every other creator says or not. I mean, come on, guys, that's not going to happen. But the main pieces of the story are definitely happy. But I always tell anybody that I talk to that's working so hard, like the Dono girls, I appreciate everything that they're doing because it's getting the facts and the truth out there. Can you imagine if this was just me as other people try to take the credit for all of this stuff? We would have gotten nowhere. Let's be honest. We would have gotten nowhere. Who am I? I'm a nobody. I'm just a hot air machine myself. So it will always be we.
Yeah, shout out to the Dono girls. They do a great job over there. They make sure that they stay factual, and I think what
Yeah.
happens is people see something, they want to add their own context on it. Although I know we are not involved wholeheartedly with that side of things, I did want to just clarify you had a post yesterday that I think people thought that putting out the copy of the police report was supposed to say, like, oh, she's arrested. Oh, charges are filed. Oh, she's on the
Oh yeah.
run, right? That's what they thought that was trying to be said. But really, in reality, and I'll speak for the Dono girls, even though I'm not one of them. I'm just like a honorary bench warmer, essentially. I just watch from the sidelines. But really, their whole point was everybody was saying there's not one police report filed yet. Nobody has filed a police report. So they
Yeah.
provided the proof that a police report had been filed and that there was not just
Yeah.
one person, there were multiple people who were going in on the same thing and reporting it. So that was just them specifically proving this is what we have done. You know what I mean? And so I
Right.
think that I think that like the context was again, and it depends on who presents it that makes a difference to me. But I think people see that and they're like, oh my gosh, this is what they're saying, and it's like, no, that's not literally just listen. And I think maybe if you, when you have a content creator out there that is like, just read in between the lines, no, that's how shit gets misconstrued. Let's
Yeah.
make it
Right.
very clear what we're trying to say. So there isn't any need to read in between the lines. Like it's very clear what you should take away from this.
Just trust me. Just trust me.
Oh,
That's
trust me,
oh
even though I've said lie after lie after lie. Trust me, even though there are video after video after video where I say one thing and then a clip of where I say something completely opposite. But just trust me. Oh, okay. Yeah,
right.
it sounds like your
Make what I'm
integrity
saying.
level is at an all-time high right now. No, thank you, friend. No, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Your integrity is through the roof.
Sarah G, actually, I do not believe, and Flava, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Dono Girls are not on YouTube. They are actually on Facebook.
Yep.
And Flava,
Group.
maybe maybe you can put the name of the group there that people can join to get that information. I don't want to misspeak or say the wrong exact name because it has about 17 words in the name. No shade at all. I'm just saying I
It's
don't want to
just
get it wrong.
Flava, if you've got the link, will you just drop it in the chat? This is the group on Facebook, you guys, that if you want updates on the refund situation, go to that group. Those girls are handling that stuff, know what's going on. Down the rabbit hole news. Rabbit's been covering the donation stuff. Y'all, I have a crazy busy life. So
Yeah.
there's certain things I can't cover everything extensively like some of, well, thank God there's other people covering stuff because it's just too much. There's so much happening. And as you see, like they sit on live. Well, they haven't been lately, which is really interesting. But normally they're on live hours and hours and hours a day. I have 3 kids. Well,
Yeah.
4 technically, but 3 that are full time with us. I have animals, I have a spouse, I have a very crazy life. So I'm like pickup line, waiting on kids, making videos. Like that's literally my life. So there's thankfully other people that are popping up that are covering a lot of stuff that are detailed and unbiased, in my opinion.
Definitely. So tell me this. So um let's see how I can word it. So do you want to debunk some of the misinformation that we've seen kind of over throughout this time? Or not
We
right now?
could. What do you did they ask? Has anybody asked any questions that I
I've been
didn't?
trying to grab all their questions. Like they asked the last question I seen, which I could be wrong, but the last one was, did they have a YouTube for the Dono girls?
Okay.
Right now, when I look at the comments, is like they're just commenting on what we're talking about,
Oh,
and giving shout outs to the Dono girls for kicking ass and pushing through this.
somebody did mention when and if this case ends. I'm going to go back to that for a second.
Oh, yep.
I do intend on at least doing one more, and it's not really. It's how do I say this? without giving away too much. So it's somebody that's very close to me personally, but has an incredible, crazy story that's going on now. It's already been shared a little bit, but I know, like, watching how you guys pick up on stories, a lot of you guys will be very interested in this one. So we will at least do one more before I'm completely done. I don't know what I'm going to do. Actually, I really enjoy doing videos. I just don't know. I just can't be, how do I say this nicely? Huh. I'm not good at being a fake bitch. There we go. So a lot of the elbow rubbing. Oh my God, I love you. I just can't do that kind of stuff. So I don't even know if YouTube's really going to be a thing for me, but we'll see. I just don't like fake. And there's a lot of that around here. And that's really sad. It's, I have to mention that, you guys. This is really actually sad for me, in the aspect that I have people coming at me on a daily basis accusing me of being somebody that I don't even know who the person is, let alone they're judging me on that person's character. Nothing to do with me, nothing to do with my work, because they're blaming it all on somebody else. They won't even sit down and look at anything presented from this side because they're so rose-colored glasses on everything is somebody else's fault.
Yeah.
And that gets old.
The thing that always makes me laugh is I go through and I look like, so I've never heard of most of the YouTubers that are involved in this situation. I've never heard of them before this at all. I didn't come from an exposing community. I came from a totally different community when this started. And so I think it's funny. Like, I've seen, I just, because I don't know people, I want to go into their lives. I want to watch them. I want to give them a fair chance, no matter what I hear about them. And so there's been a lot of people who I'm in their lives, or I look at their video and I scroll through their videos and I'm like, can you imagine? Like, I know I could name 4 off the top of my head right this second. And they have video on video on video of talking about, Katie, right? And
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, I'm not sticking up for anybody. I'm not a fan. Like, it's not like that at all. But I look at it and I'm like, could you imagine? They constantly say, like, she needs to stop. And I think to myself, logically, I think, if she stopped with her bullshit, would you even have a page anymore?
Right. They wouldn't.
Because
That's the only
I,
freaking thing they
I,
can
I just,
talk
I mean,
about.
there's no creative process. Like, they literally all talk about the same thing. And even the pages where I've looked at that I've seen, like, I don't know, if they're, maybe we'll call them maters, the Molly haters, And so when I look at their pages, I think the same thing. Like, she needs to be stopped. She needs to be taken down. She needs to get off of YouTube. And I think to myself, again, then
Right.
what content would you have?
And
Like, there is no, that's the one difference between what I see different between Facebook and YouTube is
yeah.
YouTube is so dependent on somebody else's content for a creator to have content. There are very few pages that I have yet to see where they have original content that they create on their own. That's not something that I've really seen. And so that's been interesting to me because I didn't know that world existed.
I think that's helped me, honestly, too, to be really transparent. I think the fact that I wasn't a big YouTube watcher or didn't really have a community that I paid attention to, I don't admin for anybody. Like, I really have been just a watcher, I guess is what you would say, but not even extensively to the point where I know any of these people. So I didn't even know a creator to think of highly enough to go watch their content and get ideas from. I literally, if you go back and look at my videos, I'm sorry, they're so painful. That first voice changer, oh my God. Holy shit, that was horrible. But I tried to keep zero emotion in the way I spoke and just tried to tell a story. But then I was like, no, I can't do this. Like, this is not me. I can't just be this mundane, blah, 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 here's the facts today, blah, blah, kind of thing. So I started letting my personality come out. But these people suck at telling stories. I'm going to be frank, a lot of them. And I'm talking factual stories. If you can't stick to the facts and still tell a story and entertain an audience, then what the fuck are we doing? Because you have to throw in all this bullshit drama to create a story. and we're claiming you're in the true crime community. That's not how this shit should work. True crime should always be based on the facts. You want to tell a story around it? Okay, but get the facts down first. You there?
I am. I was trying to catch up on the comments. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. Joe is like the rapid fire question asker. Like she is so good at, she'll say, I'm nosy. But she does.
Look at somebody.
Wait,
Let me tell you. So somebody is not going to listen to the beginning of the video where I say my Facebook name, right? And then they're going to go to that part right there and they're going to be like, we need to go find a Joe. Everybody, look on the internet for a Joe. Nonsense just exposed her name.
Except you already said it. And I just shortened it.
Calm down. It's Joanne, none your business. It's the same. It's the same across the board. So
it's the same. Yeah. I just shortened it because I did, and it's fun to me. Yeah. Plus the other day when there was 3, the Teslas threw people for a loop.
Yeah, they did.
Pissed.
Yeah.
But that was
they did.
It's fun to call up the caterers. Yeah. They're crazy though, man. You guys, it's actually really sad. It really is sad that they have dedicated. And I'm not saying, again, I don't know enough to know, I've heard bits and pieces, but it's really not something that I'm concerned about or have an interest in learning, because when they come at you so aggressively and attempt to control what you're doing, and you're sitting here going, but this is the facts and you're wrong, and they will not even, they won't give you any leeway, it's a little scary, because those people, even presented with straight facts, won't accept it.
Yeah. So I just kind of wanted to touch on something that they were talking about in the comments, and I'll say it because I know you've already said you don't want to touch on it. But what is the kindest way to say it? So I am not a fan of people who come into a room and suck the entire energy out of the room. That's not my, it's not my vibe I like to go with. So if I come into the room and somebody is there and they're sucking the energy out of a room, I will walk out of that room. No, thank you. I'll just move on. So I think when you give that person all of the attention, I feel like you are actually, you're encouraging that behavior, and that is not healthy. So I think you have to make that conscious decision to not encourage those behaviors. So where we have seen across multiple creators, there is a person who is craving that attention. I hope that she gets that attention wherever that may be, but that is not something that we will be doing here. And by we, I mean Nonsense and I. So that's why I'm speaking on it, because I see people in the comments asking about that, or talking about that. Excuse me, they didn't ask, but that's definitely, that's not something that we like to really get down with. So that's the reason why, all are welcome here. So we're absolutely never going to kick somebody out, unless they're being blatantly disrespectful or rude. That's different, but all are welcome here for sure. But we will not entertain those who insist on taking the focus off of where it should be. And ultimately, what people should be asking themselves, in my opinion at least, is, how is what I'm doing, how is what I'm watching, how is what I'm commenting going to benefit Marvon?
Right.
And if it doesn't, then don't do it. Don't say it. Don't watch it. It's that simple. And that goes across the board for anybody. Now, I mean, you could do whatever you want for your own entertainment purposes. Great. But it just is, it's hard to, eating the neurosis. Exactly.
I'm going to branch out a little bit too. And we're going to do a little bit sideline topics that intertwine with this, but we're going to do a whole, I'm going to do a long video on mental health. We're going to discuss that. We're going to talk about some real things that actually should be the things that are being discussed when talking about a story like this, in my opinion. And again, I'm no expert on any of this stuff. I'm a real person, and I am 100% okay in my own skin and owning my life and what I've been through and people around me. So therefore, these are important conversations that need to happen on a daily basis. We have been in a spin cycle of the same bullshit being repeated every day by certain creators. We've debunked so much of what's happening, but they're not willing to even slow down because they've got a mission to seek and destroy. And we've got to try to do something better on this side. So I encourage, if any of you guys are creators, I encourage you to go make an uplifting video about Marvon and his family. I don't care what your views on what side it is. Do something good in this story. Make a video about something other than drama. Do something about suicide, mental health, something. There's so many pieces of this we can be talking about and actually maybe making an impact. There's my soapbox. I don't know if she had a chance to look into it. What am I, Letitia claiming? Did you see that question, Joe?
No, what did it say?
I caught the end of it. Oh, Sweet Bee. I agree. She claims she's in true crime, but there is nobody has been charged with the crime. There has been no charges of a crime at this point in time.
Well, and typically, now again, I don't come from this community, y'all, but just in the words, right? In the true crime, what I imagine, again, I'd have to Google and do some research, so nobody quote me or, whatever. But what I imagine the true crime community to be is one that is showing what evidence is there and clearly stating theories and potential, potential outside of the box thinking. That's what I believe true crime is, which, correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I haven't done any research on it. However, true crime is not ignoring all of the evidence and then stating what you believe is the truth or what you believe with there's no, you can't take a, I mean, there's just so many different parts. Like even the part where they interviewed Senior and Senior said, oh, the bruising was actually here. Well, if I bump my leg against my bed right now, 2-3 weeks from now, guess what that bruise is going to do? Is it going to be in the same spot? Won't it travel? Like that was my first thought when I was, when I was hearing these different clips and things. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, and it is unfortunate because when you surround yourself with people who only think like you, then that means there is nobody around you who is calling you out on it. Now, one thing I can do is, I know you guys are gonna, don't come for me in the comments. I watched a video that somebody had sent where Goose is calling Molly out about something, and Goose stands 10 toes down about where she is. I can appreciate that she did not agree with her and still spoke her truth, right? So I can appreciate that about her. The unfortunate part is, which again is just my own speculation, is I believe that she is a very honest person herself that is just repeating what she believes is somebody else's truth. That's just my opinion of it. And unfortunately, because she believes it, she will stand on that and keep repeating it and keep repeating it and keep repeating it over and over and over, even if she hasn't seen any proof. So that is the unfortunate part. But when you surround yourself with people who, who doesn't want to believe that everybody is a good person, who doesn't want to believe that everybody has right intentions and good thoughts and positive eyes, like who doesn't want to believe that people are like that? However, when you start to see that people are behind the scenes scheming, when you start to see that this was a setup from the very beginning, I actually told Nonsense this morning, the hard part is people keep saying, I watched, I think it was the Cheese May Report video that I watched first yesterday, maybe yesterday or the day before. I don't know what day it was, but I watched that report and I was watching the comments as they were growing and growing. And I seen somebody say, this is so sad. How did this get so far off Marvon? And I thought to myself, and I told Nonsense this morning, people don't understand. This never was about Marvon in the first place. It should have been. But every single page that you go back to the beginning of July and you look at, it's Dre. She was the focus.
Yep. Yeah,
That's the
unfortunately.
reason why you can't get the focus back on the person it's supposed to be on, because it was never there to begin with. The narrative started very early on, and that's where the focus was. And that's where, excuse my French, that's where everyone fucked up.
Hey, I want to mention Welsh for a minute. Welsh, it's this. I wouldn't even call what I don't know what you call what I'm doing. Even to be honest, I have no idea. But when you said you had to step back, it's very emotional. These cases, how can I say this nicely too? These cases have an emotional pull. These cases have somebody's family that are going through the worst times of their lives. And if you can't empathize or sympathize with that and don't need to take a step back at times and check your own emotions, then I would be more concerned about it. I think it's amazing that you recognize that and you're just doing commentary where you feel comfortable, because it's very needed. But you recognizing that is huge. So many of these people will not take the time to recognize that they are having some sort of battle internally. They won't put themselves in check ever, as we were seeing. But I think it's great, Welsh. Keep doing what you're doing. Oh, Army wife. Hold on. Sorry. I'm going to have to cut off here in just a minute. We got to get going for this fight. But did you guys like this just chit chat bullshit? I don't mind doing this at all. We can do this often. I don't really care. There's a lot we can discuss, and actually we could go into actual debunking of stuff. I could actually load videos in here. Army wife, is it the same see, that's, I'm not sure. Army wife says, I'm gonna read this out loud, Nanya, you might know. I asked Nonsense this the other day. I don't know if she had a chance to look into it, but I'm really curious. So when Letitia was claiming she didn't know where Vaughn was, is that in that live, she also said she talked to the ethics committee. How? She didn't know where he was. Yeah, there's been a lot of back and forth with that, as far as stating verbally that she doesn't know where he was, or creators saying that they don't know where he is. And then you see messages that confirm that they did know where his location was. I'm not sure exactly the date of that live that you're speaking of to be able to say right off the top of my head. But that's been very common, where even in two lives, they say two different things.
So I will say this. So my understanding, with very little receipts to show you, is my understanding is there is a claim where she does text that she has gone to Arizona the 4th of July weekend. She claims that she had a flight to Arizona that weekend. My understanding is during that time is where she did find out where he was. She did claims to have contacted the ethics committee of the hospital. However, here is the difference, and I think this is what people don't understand. Her claim to contact the ethics committee is to remove Dre from being over and to force them to give her the medical information. That ethics committee has nothing to do with visitation rights. And since the Arizona law does state if she knows where she is, I, a stranger, could walk off the street. If I knew where he was right now, I, a stranger, could walk off the street and go and visit him. A visitation can never be, unless there is a court order, that is, which there was no court order preventing her from going. But a visitation can never be declined. And that did change. There's actually two laws. In 2010, it changed for same-sex couples. And in 2017, it changed again for clergy to be able to have visitation rights for people who choose different religions. So with that, she could always see him. However, it wasn't about seeing him. It was knowing the diagnosis, knowing what was going on, and being able to have that information and be a part and be included in the decision-making process for his diagnosis. And there are posts after posts after posts where she does state that. And there are text messages where she says she's getting on a plane and she's there over the weekend. There's posts that show that she has his location and she's 5 miles away from his location, but she does not go. There's then a post that talks about her going to the ethics committee and them denying her. An ethics committee is, and we did some research recently with Blantessa about it because I didn't understand what it was, but it's basically a panel of doctors who specialize in what that person's diagnosis is and knowing their ins and outs to determine if there is a safety concern or some type of medical concern for that person. If 2 ethics committees have declined you, that says a lot for the safety of him. 2 of them, not just 1. 2 ethics committee have declined you according to your message. There's more to it.
You know what you're doing to me right now, right? And I do have to go in like a minute, but you realize what conversation you're broaching right next to that I can't talk about. You guys have
your restraining order conversation that you loathe so much.
Oh, I just gotta say this, you guys. If you go back and look, I mean, it's all there. If Letitia, she found out the 11th of June that Marvon was in a coma due to social media through a family member. We all know that. She found out the 11th. Unfortunately, the 12th posts, well, the 11th posts were being made. There was conversation on Reddit happening. If all of that stuff, and at the same time, her and Dre were communicating. If she would have kept communicating with Dre, she would have been able to see her son. That's the big piece that people are missing. And I can understand the whole everybody's emotional outbursts about, Marvon Sr. being denied. People didn't even understand that Marvon was adopted at that time, let alone, that wasn't Letitia. People were so confused on so many pieces. And then they thought that Dre was actually lying and that she was confused and she knew that wasn't them, but she didn't. There were so many things, but no matter which way you turn this, no matter what way you turn it, except with their story of there was a restraining order. Marvon was not moved from the VA until I think the 26th or the 27th. I'll have to go back and look at my exact date. It's either the 26th or the 27th of June. He was moved from the VA. She had from the 11th until the 26th. They knew where he was at. They had been told numerous times the visiting policy. Marvon Sr., even in a work release program, had to make arrangements and get there. Thankfully, he was able to, but this didn't have to go down like this. It really didn't.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, Army Wife, you are correct. The passcode, there is a passcode that is put on by the hospital. And again, I'm not in the medical field, but everything that I've researched says that passcode that is put on is for family to be able to call and get an update on that person's medical status today. So that has nothing to do with visitation. You cannot, you don't have the right to that information by law. So yeah, the passcode is going to block you, but it's not going to block you from visiting. It still only blocks you from getting medical information. That's it.
Yeah, there was.
Thank you for clarifying that, Army Wife. I appreciate that.
Yeah, there was just so much and we'll go back when I have more time, you guys. I do have to run. I do want to address this one comment though, because I do know that Charlotte has a few mods in here, or people that have wrenches on our channel. I've seen their comments and people have sent me screenshots. I don't care who's in here, you guys. I don't care who's a mod for anybody or what. I'm getting messages. I don't have anything against Charlotte. I wish as a creator, if she was really thinking I was Katie, that she would have came to me and gathered that information on her own and had a conversation with me. I do know that somebody from my page actually did reach out to some people. I don't know if it was, I don't know who the person is. It was a fake account, but they were sending a lot of people information, trying to connect people. Again, I don't know who the person is, but they were trying to get people to start asking questions because they were seeing things unravel too. And I actually tried to reach out to a bunch, Justin, Molly, Elle. I'm not going to give you the account name I reached out to him under, but I was blocked under all of them before I ever made a YouTube channel. And as far as Goose can go fuck herself. I'm sorry. There it is. Joe Nunya is very nice because she's seen a different side of her, and that's totally fine. But I've seen Goose talk about children and potentially kids with special needs. I have no use. Sorry. End of story. And they're not her children to talk about. Let me be clear on that.
Okay, wow, I did not know that, but okay.
I watched it happen, and that's being talked about in the comments. But I don't have anything wrong with Charlotte, honestly. To be, I've never watched her. She was, and I've said this before, she was one that I actually kind of thought I might like at first, but then her content's very not my thing. So, but I just have nothing there either. There's just nothing there. Yeah, I'm coming.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. Okay. Well, maybe in the comments they can tell us something that they would like for us to talk about in the future. Maybe they want us to kind of go over the timeline and maybe share your screen with actual receipts that back up exactly what we're saying in the timeline. Questions maybe that we still have about the timeline, because I know we have, I want to say our list is down to about 5 parts that don't make sense and don't add up, and we're still looking for the truth in those certain situations. But maybe that's something that we can look into later on.
Nikki's saying there's 2 different gooses. Actually, there's probably 1,000 of them. The goose that I'm speaking of, I know exactly which one she is and how she speaks in the screenshots I've gotten. I don't know who the other goose is on Charlotte's channel. I honestly have watched Charlotte maybe 20 minutes in this entire 2 months. I don't get much scent about Charlotte because even when she does bring up me, she's just trying to compare if I'm Katie or not. 2 goose or 2 geese. There's 2 gooses.
There's 2 gooses, Luke. There's 2 gooses for the sake of this. They are not geese today.
They're not geese. Geese are actually, never mind. I'll be nice, but no. I saw the goose on another channel, not Charlotte's, speaking about a child. And I don't care whose child it is. I don't care all of that kind of stuff. That's just off limits, especially if it is like people say in the child special needs. There's just no use for it.
Sharon says she was convinced you were KJ. Look at that. How disappointed are you, Sharon? On a scale of 1 to 10.
I'm trying to tell you guys. I'm really not. I really am my own person. All right, y'all. I'm gonna hop off.
Right.
Maybe I will hop on tomorrow. I'm gonna do a video though, and we'll do some chats. But yeah, nope. Sorry to disappoint everybody. I'm actually really not Katie. Anybody else going to watch the fight tonight? Does anybody know who it is? Ask who is the fight?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't watch fights.
Don't
Too much violence. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Well, I'm going for the carne asada. Let's be honest.
Why are y'all bullying Letitia? So Ducky loves Batman. Let me clarify. Bullying means that we are talking down about her. Bullying means that we are attacking her, potentially doxing her. We are going to her home and, making sure that she doesn't feel safe.
Yeah.
We have done none of those things. The only thing that we are doing is we are asking questions as to why she cannot keep her story straight. We're not a fan of lies or misinformation. And so we're attempting to actually clarify those things. So if you feel like asking questions in your mind is bullying someone, then I mean, you're more than welcome to that opinion. But bullying is not asking questions. Bullying is not saying, hey, you said this on Monday and then you turned around and said something completely opposite on Tuesday. So which is it? That's not bullying. That's literally, I think that you should 100% maybe look at the definition of bullying to really get a better understanding of that. I mean, the only thing we're doing is we're using what they've said
Ducky, it's not true. What's not true? What's not true? Because if you really, really want to find out the truth, please go research. You are sick. Well,
Yeah,
I'm glad
Mocus,
you feel that way.
Mocus Pocus. I'm so glad that the trolls have actually showed up. This is wonderful. I mean, we're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to have an opinion.
Oh,
We welcome that for sure.
good.
But I just want to clarify some things. Wow, asking where money went is not bullying. Well, first off, we're not asking where money went. We're asking what the truth is. So I want to clarify that, because although we are showing, we're the only thing that nonsense is doing here, and those of us who are helping her get screenshots or make it make sense, that's what we're doing, is trying to figure out what is the truth and why there's stories change every single day. I literally found a live where in a 5-minute span, the live started, it was Letitia, she was speaking, she said one thing, and then within a 5-minute span she said something totally different, and I was like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Because, well, which is it? Like, it doesn't. So when you are there on live and you're speaking and you continue to say misinformation, or you continue to say something, it gives people the perception of deception and of you not being honest. And us asking questions is not
Oh,
us
you're wrong.
picking on them or anything else like that. Y'all think Dre is a princess? No, ma'am. There is no princesses, queens, kings, or anything else in the in the United States of America. So no, that's not what we're saying either. So I would absolutely, I would encourage you to do your research, watch some videos. If you watch on this page, you will literally see a clip of Letitia or Molly saying something. And then you'll see a screenshot, or you'll see a screen record right behind that where they say something completely different. They can't keep their story straight. And asking them questions and asking them to clarify what the truth is, that's not bullying them. That's literally using my brain and using our brains. And that's what we choose to do, is to use our brains and decipher what's the truth and what's not, and where they're lying. Okay, sure. We'll apologize when you find out
No,
I'm right. So
no.
Ducky, um if so first off, again, we have nothing to do with the money. As far as the money goes, that's not what we're here for. So there is no way for you to be right when they have said lies on camera. There's no way for you to be right. Their lies are still their lies. So the end result, whatever that investigation finds, makes no difference to me. I wish it the best on all sides of it. I personally do not think that Letitia should be the fall guy for it. I also don't think that the Dono girls should have been treated the way that they were treated, by being doxxed and called pieces of shit or anything else. So I can see both sides of that for sure. But to me, as far as the money goes, I'm going to leave that up to the police department. I'm not an investigator. I'm not a law enforcement person. I don't give a hoot about that. What I care about is the facts being put out, and the facts, whatever. I'm curious. Do you think that Molly is going to apologize? Has Molly yet to apologize to Dre if she finds out that Letitia has told her all lies? Do you think that Molly would get on a live and apologize out loud, as much slander and bullying and harassment that she's done on Dre? No, we all know she wouldn't. Has Katie done a formal apology when she says she's seen the light? Did she do a formal apology on live out loud to Dre? No, she did an apology to her followers. You know what I mean? So it goes all ways. So for me, there's nothing to apologize, because all we're doing here is putting out the truth and asking questions and saying there's not, like, which one is the truth? You said these two things, they're completely opposite. Which one is the truth? There's no bullying in that, nothing like that. Y'all are just bitter. Oh, Ducky, boo, I promise you, I have nothing to be bitter about, because guess what? At the end of the day, I get to log out of the computer, off my phone, out of these lives, out of these comments, out of these screenshots, out of these screen records, and I go on with my family.
I just don't understand what they're expecting me to apologize for, because I stand firmly 10 toes down, maybe 11. Maybe I have 11 toes. Maybe that's why I haven't shown my other foot. But no, When you are providing proof and facts, exactly what are you expecting me to apologize for? Because there won't be none of that. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm running
I
water.
guess I don't
I gotta
understand
go,
what
though.
they. Huh?
I do have to go because,
Okay.
you know, family time is important to me. But
Yeah,
Mocus
Ducky,
Pocus,
come back on the next one. We'll definitely talk it out. You have a good one.
and Mocus Pocus, sorry, I think you got confused. I know you weren't trolling. You were actually saying that asking about where the money went isn't trolling or bullying. I got it. Your comment, I think, was read wrong, but you're good. Everybody's good. Ducky, then go get fucking lost. You got a name like Duck and you're worried about what we're doing. Come on. Fuck. Nonsense. Exactly why my name is nonsense.
I mean, what is going on? Like, we got ducks and gooses, and we got every kind of fowl over there.
Yeah, every foul.
Okay.
All right, y'all.
All right.
I am off. Maybe later, if we get back in time and I'm bored and everybody else falls asleep, I will maybe pop on again because I think we do have a lot of things that we could talk about and get some open and honest dialogue going if people are interested in that. But who knows?
Yeah, I mean, if they have questions, Army Wife, I'm sorry, we have to go, but well, she has to go, but if they have questions, my inbox is always open.
I'm going to make a post on Facebook and it's going to say, ask us anything. And it'll be for the Teslas, and then we will address those hidden behind a screen.
And ultimately, if you have a question, you know, come with your question. Don't jump them in the comments, whatever. You know, really open dialogue is what we're about. That's really what it goes to. So
you want to come, Ducky, I promise you. Next stream I do, you can come up and sit in the box and ask me questions. If you're prepared for the answers. If you can handle the answers. All right. With that, you guys.
All right.
We are
bye, everybody. Have a good night.
And it's a question. It's a question. If I'm going to apologize, I said fuck no. Okay. That's the answer. Anyways, thank you all for joining. Thank you, Nanya, for coming up. And we will absolutely be back again sometime with some more ramblings. With that, Contessa, over and out.